You walk through the heart of Tenochtitlan, and the air tastes like blood. It clings to your tongue like metal shavings, drifting on the warm wind, rising off the great lake that cradles the city. The sun has barely risen, but already the streets pulse with life, or something close to it. Thousands move in slow, rhythmic currents toward the vast stone steps of the Templo Mayor. Their voices a low murmur beneath the beating of distant drums. Those drums are steady, methodical, as if marking time for something enormous and ancient waking beneath the earth. You can feel it even here, blocks away. The vibration through the soles of your feet, the ritual heartbeat of an empire. Every strike of the skin drum carries a message. Today blood will flow. Today hearts will rise, steaming into the morning sky. Today the gods will be fed. You walk among the crowds, but you're not one of them. You're an intruder in this world of obsidian blades and sun-baked stone, and yet the people don't look at you with suspicion. They're too focused, too enthralled, too ready for what is coming. Above you, the twin temples crown the pyramid like jaws waiting to snap shut. The staircases are already darkening, not from shadow, but from something more terrible. There are stains on the stone that no number of rains will ever wash away. Rust-red streaks mark the path where countless bodies have slid down, limbs twisted, eyes still open as if surprised by death. You know the stories, but nothing prepared you for this. A city that treats human hearts the way other cultures treat offerings of fruit and grain. Here, sacrifice isn't punishment, it's choreography. A hush spreads through the crowd as the priests appear on the temple platform. They look carved from another world, their skin painted chalk white, their hair stiffened with ash, their fingers stained permanently red. Their obsidian knives catch the sun and glow like black fire. You feel a chill crawl up your spine. These aren't butchers, they're specialists, surgeons of the soul. They have trained since childhood to know exactly where to cut, exactly where to press, exactly how to pull a living heart from a chest still pumping. Theirs is a precision born from zeal and repetition, a discipline honed on the bodies of thousands. You hear chanting before you see its source. A long line of captives is being led toward the stairs, their wrists bound with fiber cords, their shoulders painted blue, the color of sacrifice, the color of surrender. Some walk with heads high, accepting their fate. Others tremble, their knees buckling, breath coming in short gasps. They've been told since their capture what to expect. Some refuse to believe it. Now there is no room for disbelief. The drums keep going. The city holds its breath. The captives are not slaves. Many are warriors taken alive in flower wars, ritual battles engineered for the express purpose of capturing bodies rather than killing. This is a world where honor demands offering your enemy's heart to the gods, and victory isn't counted in land taken or generals conquered, but in the number of men dragged back alive to the pyramid. Taking captives, not ending foes, is the mark of greatness here. And now you can see exactly why. Each man in the procession is worth more dead than alive. You step closer to the base of the pyramid, the heat rising from the crowd like the breath of some enormous beast. At first you think the people are silent from reverence, but then you realize they're listening to the first cry. It comes from somewhere high above. A short, sharp sound cut off almost immediately, then another, and another. The ritual has begun before you've even reached the stairs. The priests move like a single organism. 4 hold the limbs of the offering, pinning him against the stone slab. Another grips his head, forcing it back. The 6th, the efficient, raises the obsidian blade to the rising sun and plunges it into the chest cavity with a practiced thrust. You can almost feel the rip of flesh, the slicing of muscle, the splitting of bone. Obsidian is sharper than steel. It parts skin like fruit. The priest's hand disappears up to the wrist, groping through the steaming wound. When he withdraws it, he holds a beating heart aloft, his arm dripping with blood. The crowd erupts in praise. You've never seen anything like it. There is no hesitation, no moment of pause between acts. The priests move on to the next offering with terrifying speed. The body rolls down the temple steps, bumping and twisting as gravity takes it, leaving a long streak behind. When it reaches the ground, attendants drag it aside, piling it with the others in a growing mountain of limbs and torsos. And the drums keep going. You find yourself imagining the night before, what these men were thinking as they waited in holding pens beneath the temple. Some would have been defiant, some would have prayed, others would have sat in numb silence, their minds already fleeing their bodies. The Aztecs believed death on the pyramid meant joining the sun in its endless battle through the sky, becoming a hummingbird or an eagle in the next life. Warriors offered like this became part of the divine machinery. Their blood was fuel, but belief is only part of the story. There is something else here, something more calculated, colder, political. Tenochtitlan is an empire, and empires do not survive on faith alone. They survive on fear. The spectacle of sacrifice isn't just devotion, it is a warning, a message carved into flesh. Defy us, and this is your fate. Submit, and your tribute will keep your people safe another season. The Aztec Empire relies on endless flows of goods from conquered regions. Cotton, cacao, maize, precious stones, and most importantly, bodies for the temples. A subject city that fails to deliver tribute is inviting soldiers to come knocking, and when they do, they take more than food. You walk among the spectators and see the truth in their faces. For them, today is both holy and reassuring. The sacrifices ensure the sun will rise again. They ensure the rains will fall. They ensure the empire remains strong. The blood is necessary. The blood is life. A sudden shout draws your attention. A group of captives near the base of the stairs is causing a disturbance. One man, the largest among them, breaks from the line, almost dragging two guards with him. His muscles ripple as he tears free from one restraint, screaming in a language you don't recognize. He charges toward the side of the pyramid, maybe trying to climb, maybe trying to leap. He doesn't make it far. A priest descends with shocking speed, swinging a ceremonial club embedded with obsidian blades. It catches the man in the skull, splitting it open with a sound like a fruit dropped on stone. The body collapses instantly. The club drips. The guards drag him away. The crowd barely reacts. There is no room for hesitation here, no tolerance for disruption. The ritual must continue. You force yourself to climb the first few steps. The stone is warm already from the sun, and the smell rising from the red-stained grooves is overwhelming. It's sweat, incense, cooked copper, and something more animal, something that clings to your hair and lungs. You grip the stone railing to steady yourself, your fingers brushing against centuries of residue. How many sacrifices have these steps seen? Hundreds of thousands. More? At the top, the priests move with increasing intensity. Their chants rise and fall in waves, their eyes rolling back as though possessed. Their trance is not feigned. They have trained for this moment since they were boys. Fasting, self-cutting, offering their own blood to the gods to prepare themselves for the greater work of cutting into others. They believe they are sustaining the universe. They believe the sun itself depends on the beat of the hearts they rip free. One priest turns, eyes locking with yours. His face is streaked with blood, his lips cracked and dry. He doesn't look human. He looks like an avatar of some ancient force. You step back instinctively. He gestures to the next captive and speaks in a voice more like gravel than breath. You can't understand the words, but the meaning is clear. There is no turning back. The next offering is led forward. A young man, barely out of adolescence. His hair is braided with feathers, his eyes defiant. He doesn't struggle, he doesn't cry out. He simply lies down on the stone, chest rising and falling quickly. The priests descend upon him. They pin his arms and legs. The officiant raises the blade. You want to look away, but something forces you to watch. Maybe it's horror. Maybe it's fascination. Maybe it's the realization that every empire, ancient or modern, has its own version of this moment. Someone's life being consumed to keep the machinery turning. The blade plunges, the boy screams, the priest's hand disappears into the wound. When it emerges, the heart gleams in the sun like a ruby torn from the earth. It beats twice, then falls still. The crowd roars, the body rolls. You step back, dizzy, trying to catch your breath, but there is no break, no end. The line of captives stretches down the stairs and around the plaza. This is not a ceremony, it is a production line, a human river flowing toward one inevitable conclusion. And then you see something you did not expect. Women, a group of female captives, is being led toward a smaller platform beside the main altar. Their faces are painted, their hair adorned with marigolds. Some are trembling, others serene. They too are being prepared for sacrifice, but their ritual is different. Their offering is to fertility gods, to the cycle of life and death that governs the fields. Their bodies will be buried in the earth rather than cast down the steps. You watch as one priestess raises a long obsidian dagger, her painted face unreadable. The woman before her kneels. The crowd quiets. The cut is swift. The blood flows into a bowl carved with images of maize. The woman collapses. The crowd murmurs in reverence. You realize then that no one is exempt. Men, women, warriors, slaves, nobles captured in battle, they all bleed the same here. The gods require balance, and balance must be maintained. A sudden uproar draws your attention back to the main platform. The priests have paused. A new captive has been brought forward, and the crowd reacts with surprise. This man is older, heavily scarred, a warrior of high rank. His feathered headdress marks him as someone important. Maybe a noble, maybe even a leader of one of the subject cities. His capture would have been symbolic, a prize taken in battle. His sacrifice would send a message to everyone in the empire. No status protects you from the stone. He stands tall as the priests approach, his eyes burning with hatred. He spits at their feet. The crowd gasps. The officiant lifts his blade, and the man laughs. It is a terrible sound, defiant and full of something like triumph. The priests hesitate. Not long, but long enough for the man to throw himself forward, slamming his skull into one priest's face. The man's nose explodes in blood. Chaos erupts. The warrior lunges toward the edge of the platform, but two priests grab him, dragging him backward. He kicks, screams, thrashes. The officiant moves in, hands steady. The blade flashes. The man's laughter stops. The heart rises. The body falls. You feel sick, not because of the blood, not because of the violence, but because you realize there is a rhythm to all of this. A pattern that has repeated far beyond this single morning, far beyond this single temple, far beyond anything you can comprehend. This is not chaos. It is structure. It is governance. It is the engine of an empire built on fear, faith, and flesh. The priests work tirelessly. Their arms are slick with blood up to the elbows. Their voices crack from chanting. Their breath comes in ragged gasps. They are not machines, but they try to be. They know the gods demand more, always more. The sun moves across the sky, and still the bodies come. Still the hearts rise. Still the drums pound. Hours pass. The pile of corpses at the base of the pyramid grows so large that attendants must drag them away constantly just to keep space clear. Vultures circle overhead, their shadows skimming the ground like omens. The smell becomes unbearable, a thick, cloying fog of iron, sweat, and heat. You try to step away, but something holds you in place. Maybe it's the realization that leaving this moment would be the same as pretending it never happened. And you know better now. You've seen it up close. You've seen how belief becomes weaponized, how ritual becomes governance, how bodies become currency. Another captive is brought forth. Another heart rises. The sun begins to sink, and still the priests keep going. The sun sinks low over Tenochtitlan, turning the lake gold, the rooftops crimson, and the temple stones black with shadow. The drums begin to slow, shifting from the thunderous pulse of the morning ceremony into a deeper, heavier rhythm, one that seems to echo inside your ribs. The crowd has thinned, though thousands remain. Some linger in reverence, others in morbid fascination, and some because they have nowhere else to go until the ritual ends. Children sit on their parents' shoulders, watching with wide, unblinking eyes. Old women mutter prayers under their breath. Warriors stand rigid, faces expressionless, as if daring the gods to doubt their devotion. You can't help but notice the shift in the air as dusk settles. It grows cooler, but the smell intensifies. Thick, coppery, impossible to ignore. Smoke twists from braziers surrounding the temple, carrying the scent of burning incense and human fat. The wind carries it across the city. Every household will smell this tonight. Every child will grow up familiar with it. Every subject city miles away will hear rumors about today's bloodletting, and those rumors will be enough to keep tribute flowing for another season. This is how an empire sustains itself, not in gold, not in grain, but in spectacle. The next offering is brought forward. His face is streaked with tears and dust. His knees tremble so violently that the guards must half carry him. He tries to speak, words of pleading or begging, or maybe a prayer, but his voice breaks. The priests do not pause. They do not comfort. They do not acknowledge his humanity. He is a vessel, a container for a heart that no longer belongs to him. The officiant steps in, his blade raised. The sky behind him flashes orange, then red, as though the sun itself is watching. The cut is swift, the scream is brief, the heart rises, the drums answer. You lose track of time, minutes blur into hours. Sweat trickles down your back. Your legs ache, your throat burns from the constant taste of iron swirling in the air. The temple stones beneath your feet feel sticky, tacky, as if the blood has seeped through centuries to grip your souls. You try not to look at the growing pile of bodies at the base of the pyramid, but your eyes betray you. The limbs twist in unnatural angles. The faces freeze in final expressions: shock, terror, acceptance. One face catches your attention, a young man with a feather woven into his hair. You saw him earlier in the procession, standing tall, defiant. Now his eyes stare at the sky, unseeing, his chest a hollow cavity. A breeze stirs the feather. It flutters weakly, like a dying breath. And then, finally, the drums stop. The voice of the officiating priest rises, hoarse but triumphant. He speaks to the crowd in words you cannot understand, but the meaning reverberates through the plaza. The gods have been fed. The sun will rise, the rains will come, the empire will endure. The crowd erupts in cheers. Priests stagger back from the altar, their bodies trembling, their hands shaking for the first time all day. Their trance is broken, replaced now by exhaustion, by the human toll of what they have just done. They have given everything, blood, voice, strength, to keep the world turning. They will cleanse themselves tonight in ritual baths, cutting their own flesh to offer private prayers. Some will collapse before they reach their chambers. Some will dream of hearts beating in their palms. Some will wake screaming. You step away from the altar, your eyes drawn to the vista beyond. Tenochtitlan stretches out in every direction, a city built on water, glittering like a jewel set into the lake. Canoes drift along causeways. Families begin preparing evening meals. Markets close. Fires spark to life. The city seems peaceful in the fading light, as if unaware, or perhaps indifferent, to the carnage atop its greatest temple. Yet beneath that peace lies something darker, something woven into the stone of every building, the soil of every field, the breath of every living soul. The Aztec Empire is built on a bargain, a contract written in blood. As long as the gods receive their due, the world will not end. As long as the hearts keep rising, the sun will have strength to rise with them. You descend the steps slowly. Each one feels heavier than the last, as if the pyramid itself resists letting you leave. You can see the bodies being hauled away, dragged across the plaza toward the Tzompantli. The skull rack, a towering wooden scaffold lined with horizontal poles, designed for exactly one purpose. Skulls already crowd the beams, thousands of them, bleached white by the sun, some cracked, others clean and smooth. Warriors killed in battle, sacrificial victims, captured nobles. Their skulls are more than trophies. They are reminders, warnings, symbols of cosmic order. The attendants begin the grim work of adding fresh skulls to the display. They work with practiced ease, gouging holes into the temples of the newly dead, sliding them onto the poles. The skulls clack together with an unsettling hollow sound. Birds descend immediately, pecking at what little flesh remains. The air is thick with flies. You look at the skull rack and realize that each of these faces once belonged to someone who thought they would live another day. Someone who believed they would grow old, raise children, pass on stories. Instead, they ended here, stripped of name, identity, even flesh, reduced to bone, arranged for public display. A city of millions walks past this scaffold every day, Children grow up under its shadow. Lovers pass it on their way to meet. Priests offer prayers before it. No one flinches, no one turns away. This is normal here, this is life. You walk deeper into the temple complex, past courtyards lit by torches, past priests washing their hands in carved basins, staining the water pink. You find yourself wondering if any of them question the ritual, if any of them lie awake at night and think about the faces of the men whose hearts they held, if any of them feel guilt or doubt or fear. But you know the answer. Faith, this absolute, leaves no room for doubt. Doubt is a luxury. Doubt is dangerous. Doubt is how empires fall. You pass a chamber where young priest apprentices sit in silence, their legs folded beneath them. Their faces are expressionless, their eyes lowered. A senior priest moves among them, whispering instructions. These boys will someday take the place of the men you saw on the altar. They will learn the proper angle of the blade, the precise timing of the cut, the exact prayer to speak as the heart rises. They will be taught discipline, control, stillness. They will be taught not to hesitate, and they will be taught that without them, the universe will collapse. You emerge into a smaller courtyard where women tend to a stone basin filled with burning herbs. They cut their earlobes with obsidian blades, letting their own blood drip into the fire. The flames hiss and snap. Their faces are serene. For them, sacrifice is not an event. It is a way of life. They bleed for their children, their ancestors, their gods. They bleed because the world demands it. Their pain is a prayer. You keep walking. Night fully settles over Tenochtitlan, and the city glows with fires reflected in the dark mirror of the lake. Canoes drift by like ghosts. The streets hum with quiet conversation. You realize the people here are not morbid. They are not monstrous. They are not cruel in the way you imagined. They are simply shaped by a worldview that sees existence as precarious, fragile, constantly at risk of unraveling, unless blood anchors it in place. For them, sacrifice is not horror. It is necessity. It is order. It is devotion. You find yourself drifting toward the far edge of the plaza, where the crowd has thinned and the air is cooler. You stop beside a stone wall carved with images of serpents and suns. Your heartbeat is still fast. Your hands tremble. You feel the weight of what you witnessed pressing into your chest. And then you ask yourself the question no one ever wants to confront. Why does this disturb you? Is it because it is violent? Because it is bloody? Because it is so unapologetically brutal? Or is it because it is honest? Every empire demands something from its people. Some demand taxes, some demand obedience, some demand silence, some demand lives at the edge of a battlefield, some demand dignity, freedom, joy. Some demand slow sacrifice, years spent in labor, decades spent in fear. Every empire has its altars, some just hide them better than others. The Aztecs carved theirs in stone. You look back at the pyramid, its silhouette cutting into the night sky like a jagged tooth. The steps gleam faintly in the moonlight, still slick with the remains of the day. You think of the hearts that beat in the hands of the priests. You think of the bodies rolling down the stairs. You think of the skulls on the tzompantli, hollow eyes staring forever into the darkness. You begin to understand. The world is full of rituals, some symbolic, some literal. Some are ceremonies, some are systems, some are expectations passed down through generations. All require something from those who take part. All extract a cost. The Aztecs simply confronted that cost openly, unflinchingly. You step away from the temple, the drums still echoing faintly in your mind. You feel the stone beneath your feet, the warm wind against your skin, the weight of 1,000 years settling around you like dust. You realize something then. Something simple, but terrifying. Human beings have always believed that blood can buy order, that sacrifice can buy safety, that suffering can buy meaning. Whether on a battlefield, in a palace, in a prison, in a city square, or atop a pyramid, the story repeats. Only the architecture changes. You take one last look at the Templo Mayor as the fires burn low, and you feel the truth settle in your bones. We are not so different from them. They believed they were saving the world, so do we. Empires rise on the backs of those who give more than they can afford. Rituals survive on the lives of those who never chose to be part of them. And the line between devotion and violence is thinner than anyone wants to admit. You turn your back on the pyramid. The night swallows you. The drums fade. But the story does not. It never does. Because beneath every civilization, beneath every monument, beneath every triumph, there is a darker foundation, a truth cut into the stone. The world is built on sacrifice, and no matter how far we think we've come, no matter how civilized we claim to be, no matter how enlightened we pretend we are, the blood never really goes away.